the journey of self-actualization is an onerous one at that. This is not for the faint of heart. And because you are concurrently the statue and the sculptor, the necessity is the endurance of. How are you? How are you doing? How are you doing today? When I think back about the past 8 years of hardcore, intense, personal development, I honestly think at the end of the day, that's all I wanted, was for someone to ask me that question and for me to be bright-eyed and bushy-tailed and not hide from myself and authentically express myself and say, I'm doing really well. How are you doing? I wanted to be at the point where my cup filleth over, and I actually had the mental bandwidth to pose that question, not just haphazardly as a knee-jerk response, not to engage in small talk, not to appease people and to fit in socially, but rather because I actually cared about that person, and I actually had the mental faculties, the energy, the sustained focus, the confidence, and the eye contact to look them in the eye and actually give a about them and actually care about how my fellow human beings were doing, and to be so favorably positioned on the proverbial chessboard that I actually had the luxury of foregoing the sacrificial pawn, as it were, to actually give, to sacrifice, to be an active listener for someone else. So it was twofold. Not only did, of course, I want to be in a good position on the chessboard, but I wanted to help others get to a good position in their life. I actually wanted to care. I wanted to set a good example, be a good mentor, be a good teacher, a communicator, a listener, a lifelong learner, and actually give back to people and have people actually be understood in my presence. At the end of the day, what I think you really want is to feel good about yourself. I think the true test, the true litmus test of your ascension in life, your self-actualization, is how you feel about yourself when you're with yourself. You probably heard that you are not what you think you are or what other people think you are, but you are what you think other people think you are. This epitome of analysis paralysis, just being so far removed from being in touch with yourself because you're flying by the seat of your pants in a walking daze of confusion. And you are living fundamentally on the momentum of other people's expectations. But when you peel back all of the proverbial layers of the onion, what you realize is that all that matters, the only vote left that counts, you as the ultimate arbiter of the quality of your experience of this life, your first person phenomenological experience of such, is how you're feeling about yourself in the absence of others. So I ask again, my friend, how are you doing? Because I actually care. And everything that I tell you, this is my promise to you, on this channel, Jason Actualization, is precisely reorienting you, getting you back on track to blaze the trail called Find Your Freedom. Your freedom is your ability to be at ease with yourself internally, to be confident externally, to show up to the party of life with that aforementioned cup that filleth over, so that you can better express yourself and by extension, better relate to other human beings and actually get to interface with this reality in a favorable fashion that feels nice, everything that comes out of my lips, everything that I express to you is from this unwavering, undying desire for you to have that full freedom, that full autonomy, that full uninhibited, disinhibited, unconditional self-love. And that is going to masquerade ad infinitum as seemingly disparate dots. I'm going to be giving you a lot of different data points, and it won't be obvious how those interconnect. But in the end, the idea is for those to all corroborate with one another and form a self-consistent picture, a map as it were, that you can hang your hat on, that you can view, you can use to navigate life with, to find your freedom. And it may not be obvious on the surface when I'm talking about the importance of saturated fat and how that's been made the scapegoat for the doings of industrial seed oils like corn, canola, cottonseed, soybean, sunflower, safflower, rice bran, grapeseed. It may not be obvious to you why I am expounding upon these nutritional topics, how you become what you eat and what you eat ate, and how full-fat dairy, if you're lactose tolerant, is divinely healthy. Whole milk, cheese, Greek yogurt, how eggs, especially the cholesterol in the egg yolks, are divinely healthy for human beings. How red meat is the unprecedented, unparalleled superfood for human beings. How seed oils are literally plaguing mankind and giving rise to the myriad diseases of modern civilization: diabetes, dementia, macular degeneration, Alzheimer's, which aptly so has been recently characterized as type 3 diabetes mellitus, because there is a fundamental chronic inflammatory underpinning to all of these seemingly disparate dots of diseases that are unnecessarily overly complex diagnoses for the conceivable set of symptoms that arise from a single underlying etiology: oxidation and chronic inflammation. When I talk about the importance of sleep, of setting an alarm to go to bed, to set your circadian rhythm and not to wake up. That way you're staying on track, going to bed on time, getting more hours before midnight, which are worth 2 hours after midnight, and you're waking up not in a deep restorative state of sleep, like a deep sleep, in which case you're actually going to feel like you've woken up on the wrong side of the bed, but rather you wake up in a light sleep when your body is actually ready to get going. When I talk about the fact that we live in an over-caffeinated and underslept world, we live in a world where people are overfed because they're undernourished. When I talk about the importance of fixing your physiology, because that is the greatest segue to finding your freedom. Because at the end of the day, you are a biological entity having a human experience. And the neurochemistry that you experience is inevitably entangled with the quality of said experience. Everything that I advise you on is to improve that experience, because I do love you, and I want you to love your life more than any person, place, or thing within it. I want you to be able to, at the end of the day, when nobody else is listening, nobody's watching, and you're just stood there before your mirror, looking at your own reflection, being able to smile and know that you actually squeeze as much juice out of the proverbial fruit of life for that particular day. And that when your head hits the pillow, you can go to bed knowing that you actually sampled the proverbial buffet of life to the best of your ability. You actually went out and experienced life like a self-actualizing human being who is living at the edge of your comfort zone. But you do that not from a state of discontent Although that is a good starting point and certainly what propelled my journey when I was rejected by a girl that I was just head over heels in love with. That was a great starting point because I was in pain, and so necessarily the aversion of pain was at the forefront of my mind, as was the way that my ego was being perceived by others. I actually put stock in that, and I wanted to level myself up so greatly to the point that I wanted to be rendered unrecognizable. So I not only didn't want to be seen as I had been, the rejected Jason Jr., who was not able to garner the love and respect of the girl that he was head over heels for, but I wanted to eliminate that ego and grow that ego, hyperinflate it to the point that it finally popped. So going full circle from having no ego or a diminished ego to having an ego, a hyperinflated one at that, and then bursting, going back full circle, and then not only no longer being ego identified, but being fundamentally at ease with myself as I navigate life and not needing favorable perceptions from others, realizing that the only thing that I could hang my hat on at the end of the day was the way that I perceived Jason in the mirror, seeing that reflection. That was the only vote left. And likewise, my vote for you, how I view you, it doesn't matter if you don't favorably view yourself. The journey of self-actualization is an onerous one at that. This is not for the faint of heart. And because you are concurrently the statue and the sculptor, the necessity is the endurance of pain. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry you have to go through that. I'm sorry that in sculpting yourself, not just physically, but mentally, is going to necessitate experiential pain. And that there's no actual way around that. My words may be wise to you, these words that I utter. But those words themselves are not the wisdom. And the acquisition and development of such wisdom can only occur by you taking action, going out into life, stepping up to the batter's box, swinging for the fences, daring to be loved, daring to be rejected, putting out the most authentic version of yourself instead of this half-assed, inauthentic version that can always be denied, but then subconsciously you can always know that that wasn't the real me that I put forth. That wasn't the real me who got rejected. And so you don't even have to experience the pain because you never dared to love. You never dared to step up to the plate. You never dared to take a chance at striking out in swinging for the aforementioned fences. And so sedation is all that you're ever going to know because you weren't willing to actually wake up and engage life properly, living at the edge of your comfort zone. That's where the map takes you. That's where Find Your Freedom takes you, is into the zone of discomfort that you perpetually, continually expand outward to expand your comfort zone so that eventually you can get to the point where you have a very expanded circle of concern that radiates far and beyond the confines of your petty little ego. So the question is, why even bother? You might wonder, why not just stay sedated? Why not just continue engaging in chemical crutch behaviors, such as smoking, drinking alcohol, or less obvious things that still give you a dopamine hit, such as engaging in petty gossip at work or perpetually scrolling on Instagram or whatever social media platform of your choice. The real question is, what are you looking forward to in this life? Is there something on the horizon, something that you're working towards, some sort of mission, some sort of effect that you are looking to have, some sort of goal that you're looking to attain, but ideally within the umbrella of a purpose, an actual mission statement that you have sussed out? In other words, what is grounding your existence? Why even engage in the hero's journey to begin with? I'll tell you why I think you should. I think you should take the call to action because you have a uniqueness about you. There's something that you could give this world that nobody else could because you've come this way. You have a certain permutation of proclivities, of life experiences, of interests, of skills that you could conceivably sharpen to offer even more to the world tomorrow than you could today. And what I would submit is that there's no greater gift that you could both give to the world and to yourself than to share that unique version with others. So for me, it's the fact that 14 years ago, I was diagnosed with this rare, apparently incurable chronic condition of my esophagus called eosinophilic esophagitis. And it's the fact that in concert with a reasonably good natural speaking ability and the past 5 years that I've spent as a consultant pharmacist reviewing thousands of patient charts, it's that I want to communicate the truths about nutrition, about how to actually fix your physiology and become a well-adjusted human being. There's a certain message that I can communicate that nobody else could. And if I were on my deathbed today and I could just see this ghost by that deathbed and it's looking at me with these desperate, saddened eyes and it says, "You could have given me life. You could have brought me into this world. But now I must die with you because you failed to do that. Because you failed to bring me to life when nobody else could. See, you had the revival potion. You had that certain concoction that you could have used. You had the antidote. And you could have resurrected that ghost. And that is your purpose, your mission here. And when you fail to do that, when you fail to bring that to life, to share that with the world, and you're on your deathbed and you no longer have the cognitive faculties or the physical energy, the wherewithal to revive this ghost, it dies with you. And we both know that you don't want that. So what is that ghost for you? If today was your last day and you're on your deathbed, what is that ghost whispering in your ear? Really think about the way that ghost would look at you with those saddened, desperate eyes. And how would that make you feel to realize that you didn't step up to the batter's box and swing for the fences? So figure out more about that ghost. What is it? What does it want to be? How does it want to masquerade in a finite form? How does it want to influence others? And what is the potion that you need to concoct to bring it back to life? I love you very much. Thanks for checking out today's video. Drop a comment down below. What did you think about this video today? And are you on board with me? Have you joined me on this journey? Have you subscribed yet? Are you ready for what lies up ahead? I know I am, and I hope you are too. Drop a comment down below, my friend. Like and subscribe for more content like this. And until next time, find your freedom. Peace.